Well, the Bank of Canada is expected to say that it will pause hiking interest rates at its formal announcement coming up on Wednesday morning. Some are suggesting maybe that this is now the right moment to buy a house now. So for a closer look at why, we're joined by Leah Zlatkin, lowestrates.ca expert and licensed mortgage broker. Good to have you back on the show, Leah. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
So why is it, if the Bank of Canada they've signaled they're going to pause, we don't know for sure that they will on Wednesday, but if they do, why do you think people should be thinking now is the time to strike, now is the time to buy?
It's a really great opportunity for a lot of young Canadians looking to get into the housing market. We've seen a dramatic decrease in the cost of homes since last year. And so for anybody who's looking to get into that starter home, you might actually be able to get into a home that's valued under $1 million. What that actually means is you don't need to put 20% down. So for a lot of people struggling for that down payment, right now is the right time to get into that townhome or that larger condo. The other opportunity is that we're actually seeing a little bit less movement in the real estate market. So we're seeing a lot of people not always listing right away. We might see more listings in the spring market, but because we're down about 47% from this time last year in terms of the number of listings that are out there, there's an opportunity that some of the homes that maybe need a little bit more work might be on the market longer. And so for those types of homes, you might actually be able to get a home that needs a little bit of work, but you might be able to get in at a good price point because they've been sitting on the market for a while. If you're looking for a turnkey house, on the other hand, those houses do seem to be moving right now. And we are seeing the market's up 8% since last month.
And that's what I was curious about, because we had Treb on here last week talking about that decline year over year, February to February, and it's such a dramatic situation, but it really does depend on the situation of the house, right? Because if the house is ready to go, we understand even competitive bidding has come back in, and I'm sure you've been seeing this as well.
Yeah, so for a lot of clients that are looking to get into that perfect, already finished home, there is a bit of a bidding war situation happening on some of those. But if you're looking at a property that may not be, you might need to do a little bit of work on the kitchen, or you might need to do some work on the bathroom, something like that, you might be able to get in on a really good deal. We are seeing prices down from this time last year too, so it's a really good opportunity.
So in terms of that, so if you're thinking like now's the time is right, and now you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna pull the trigger, I'm gonna buy a house. When it comes to mortgages, and this is of course where you come into the equation here, Leah, a lot of people typically have done, like, I think 5-year, either fixed or variable. What's the advice right now, though? Where are you kind of guiding your clients? And I realize it's different, person to person, but in general, where are you steering them? Yeah,
so in the past, we were always looking at 5-year rates. Right now, we're looking at 3-year fixed rates. If you look at, the Bank of Canada overnight rate, it sits at 6.7 today. Most people are going to be paying something around 6% on a variable rate mortgage. Hopefully, it'll be going down in 2024, but you're going to pay that for the next year. Whereas if you're looking at fixed rates today, you can get a 3-year fixed rate around 5.5, if not a little bit less than that, depending on who your broker is. So there's always an opportunity to save a little bit of money if you're looking at a 3-year fixed. Based on the trajectory of where people think rates are going to go for variable rates and when rates might start coming down, I do think that most people stand to save a lot of money doing a 3-year fixed.
So Leah, how important is it as we look ahead to Wednesday that the Bank of Canada kind of stands behind and does what it says it was going to do and push pause, not raise rates this week?
Analysts are forecasting that there is not going to be a hike. I think that a lot of people have had their confidence shaken in the Bank of Canada based on the fact that last year they said rates were going to stay low and they didn't. So I think standing behind what they've said is a good indicator to the public that, we've done a great job of stamping out inflation, and here we are, and we can rely on the Bank of Canada moving forward.
Yeah, so much of this is psychology as much as anything, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Leah Zlatkin with lowestrates.ca. Good to have you on. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.